Team, hey everyone. Really nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Josh Wagner coming to you from New York. I have a jam-packed session for you today. 3 ways to increase your profits, especially grow 20,000 a month, hitting 2024 to have your best practice ever. Everything I teach, whether you're a chiropractor or other type of healthcare provider, is applicable. I'd love to see in the chat, are you a DC or a different type of healthcare provider? Just throw in the chat DC or acupuncturist, massage therapist. Let's see what it is. Emily Doubt, DC. No, oh, DC. Oh, amazing. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Josh Wagner. I founded Patient Mastery about 10 years ago. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors grow their practice without more marketing, without having to do talks or use any type of language that just didn't feel congruent or comfortable. I've partnered with Jane on sponsorships. They've come to my events. I endorse them completely. Most likely, if you're on this, you're either a Jane user or you're thinking about using Jane. Highly endorse and recommend for smooth, simple EHR software, all of that. So you guys ready? Let's dive into it. Okay. Also, I'm going to be asking questions throughout this. I want you to be able to take notes. The first thing I want you to write down right now is, and this is just for yourself, don't put it in the chat. What are your current collections right now? So you got on this webinar, this presentation for 3 no-cost strategies to add 20,000 a month to your practice collections. All progress starts with telling the truth. So what are your collections right now? Write that at the top left of your piece of paper. For some of you, it's going to be 10,000 average monthly collections. Is it 15,000 a month, 25,000 a month, 60,000 a month, 150,000 a month? It doesn't matter. We're all in the game to help more people and have a great practice. So right there, top left of your page, what your current monthly collections are. And then on the other side, the top right, put down, what do you want them to be? Most chiropractors I find, wherever you are, 15, 25, 40, 60, it's oftentimes common that you want to double. So if that's you and it's 25 in the top left, put 50 in the top right. Or maybe 25 and getting to 40 would be amazing. The point is, let's get clear on where you are, where you want to get to, and have a moment of reality of we're finishing out a year. We've got less than 2 months in 2023. 2024 is gonna roll in. And if you accept insurance, deductibles reset, there's economic stuff going on, there's political stuff going on, there's socioeconomic stuff going on. The point is, things don't just naturally get better with time. Either nothing changes, it stays the same, or things naturally break down and get worse. The only way to make a difference in your practice and your collections is to do new things. You can't just bank on, oh, I've been in my community another year, so I'm going to get more referrals. I'm going to get more drive-bys. I'm going to get more organic Google SEO. That's the 2% difference. That'll happen, but that's 2%. If you want to add 20,000 a month to your practice, if you want to double your collections, you've got to think differently, act differently, and practice with different strategies. And I'm going to give you 3 here that have helped hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors all over the world, not just in the US and Canada. So having the practice you deserve and helping more people heal, 3 no-cost strategies to add 20,000 to your monthly collections. Now, at any point during this, if you have a question on what I'm teaching or sharing, or you want me to slow down because I'm from New York, I go really fast, just throw it into the chat. I see the chat easier than the Q&A section. So you guys ready to get started? Okay. First one, patient mastery strategy. Number 1, new patient conversion. So what does new patient conversion means? That's someone who calls in, books an appointment online, walks into your practice. They're considered a new patient before they start receiving your care, following your recommendations, paying for care. That's the difference. Because new patients who come in, but either don't start care, or maybe you recommend a series of care, but they disappear after 1 or 2 visits and you recommended more than that, that's not considered new patient conversion. That's oftentimes we get really burnt out. We get really frustrated when patients aren't following our recommendations. So new patient conversion is taking a new patient, brand new patient, to a paying, following your recommendations patient. What sabotages a lot of great chiropractors and healthcare providers is how you see your fees, how you create your fees, how you share your fees, because you feel like you have to sell your care. If that relates to you in any way, shape, or form, either you graduated from school, you had no idea how to do it, and it doesn't matter what you charge or what you recommend, if it ever feels like you have to sell your care and probably you're like me, you didn't get into chiropractic thinking you'd have to have money conversations or sales conversations, or like me, I was taught 45-minute to hour-long report of findings that were daunting to give and daunting to receive from the new patients. So, if you ever were taught to give recommendations or report of findings where it felt like you were having to sell your care or close patients, or anything like that, just throw me in the chat box and make sure it shows that everyone can see, not just the panelists and the hosts, so we can see who can understand this. Because if you're coming from a place, uh, yeah, Shanice, Daniels, me, Abby, Schroeder, me. And that's how I was taught. It was a hard sell, it was scare tactics, it was heavy education, and it just didn't feel right. Like, again, you're probably like me. You got into chiropractic because you either fell in love with the philosophy, that was me. You had a great recovery or healing story yourself or someone in your family, that was me too. Both my brother and my mother had great experiences with chiropractic. Or you just really wanted an all natural service and modality to help people. And that was me too. And I never thought I'd have to sell anything. So I'm going to show you the difference between thinking you have to sell your care rather than getting paid for helping people get their life back. Because, guys, as chiropractors or as any type of healthcare provider, that's really what we're doing. We're not just giving adjustments, we're not just giving modalities, we're helping people not just get out of pain or get a health condition resolved, get mobility back. That's the step in between. So there's someone comes in with a condition, they have a symptom, pain, immobility, diagnosis. This is not what you're delivering as the resolution of this. What you're delivering is what they can now do in their life once the pain goes away, once the mobility comes back, once the diagnosis is negative, once they heal. What patients are paying for is getting back to their life. And I'm going to show you how to word this and think about it so you have more confidence when it comes to creating your fees and either putting them on paper for the patient to see or verbally saying it to them. So you get paid easier, you get paid more, people follow your recommendations, and they get better. And they tell their friends, and they consider you their doctor for life. That's the basis of patient mastery, is helping you get paid and be the go-to doc. So if you're still trying to get new patients to pay you for your service or care protocol, this is most likely what you look like at the end of the week or at the end of the day. Because if you're trying to sell your visits or a package of visits or a care plan or any, what are patients thinking? Like, let's say you do a 10 pack for X $100, or you do a 12 pack or 20 pack or visit to visit. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're selling your specific services and care, immediately in the new patient's mind, they're thinking, every visit is X amount of dollars. I can get a 10 pack for this amount of dollars or a 20 pack for this amount of dollars. I wonder where I can go get that for a better rate. That's what patients are thinking. Just like if you're going for a car wash and you have two options in town and one's $25 and one's $12, might as well go to the $12 one. And let's say you're going to get the same outcome. So when you are speaking to new patients about your fees, if it's attached directly, like itemized to your services, all you're doing is making them think, I wonder if I can get any of this for a better rate, or perhaps if, let's say, Dr. Brian says, okay, you need 16 visits, they're thinking, I wonder if I can get the same results in 8 visits or 10 visits from someone else. And then I'll save money. Because, guys, that's the world we live in. And not just because of the last year, inflation and economic instability. That's human nature. Everyone wants to save. Now, just like I was saying before, most doctors, most common weakness is talking about money because you didn't get into healthcare and being a chiropractor to speak about money. And it can make the recommendations conversation cause you anxiety, cause you fear, cause you to like stumble on your words. And that's if you just try to do it on your own. And there's a lot of stuff out there in the profession that just don't make you feel good about what you're saying, whether it's fear tactics, whether it's overloading them with education. And I like to give the example of if you wouldn't be proud of your own mother receiving recommendations conversation from a chiropractor for what you're taught to say, then you shouldn't be saying it to patients. That's one of the things I'm proud of everything I teach chiros or any type of doctor. You'd be happy and proud and feel safe if your own mother was a new patient. Truth, exactly, Brian. So what we're gonna show you is a new way to think about your fees and what you charge that actually makes it your greatest strength, and it's easy for you to talk about it. So getting paid easier for your care. I already mentioned it, but I know I speak fast. Do you know what patients are really paying you for? Especially your new patients. They come into you, maybe they were referred, maybe they saw your reviews online, maybe it was an ad, maybe they just saw your signage on their way to work. But do you know what patients are really paying you for? Well, that's the answer. The expectation of results, because hey, we're chiropractors. We can't guarantee an outcome, even though we can be really, really sure and certain, but never should lie or say an untruth to a patient. So, and you don't have to, which is amazing as well. You don't have to say your back pain is going to be resolved in 12 visits or 2 weeks or 2 months, or your headaches are going to be gone in a month or 2 months or 3 months. You don't have to say that to get someone to believe you, trust you, and pay you. So you can say the truth and come with certainty. So here's an example. I expect your back pain to be gone in 2 months. I expect your headaches to be gone or 90% better or better within 2 months of a care protocol based on years of clinical experience helping tons of patients just like you get the same results. You see how everything I said was completely honest, but with a tone of certainty and leadership that makes it so you're honest and patients want what you have, rather than saying something that you can't guarantee. Even if you're the nicest, most trustworthy, have great bedside manner, it can elicit the red flag in a patient's mind. Like, how is he or she so certain? I've gone to 7 other providers and I've had this for 35 years. How do they know it's going to be gone in 2 months? Like, it sounds nice, but you all know we kind of live in the BS age of anyone can say anything, whether it's online or on the news, in media, politics, that people have a stronger BS meter of, do I trust this person? So you actually have to be careful if you guarantee, not just on the back end, are you going to be able to fulfill it, but on the front end, people get more skeptical. So back to, what are your new patients actually paying you for? They're paying for the expectation of results, the optimistic expectation, and results, let's say, means absence of pain, presence of mobility, absence of a condition, and the difference those results make in their life. So what are examples of differences? What's it worth for your new patient to never have chronic headaches, back or neck pain, disc issues, but more so the difference that makes being able to sleep through the night, get back to their weekends, whether that's sitting for 6 hours on a couch watching NFL football every day or every Sunday, not in pain, or being able to go to going to work, being a weekend warrior, being with their family, taking the spouse out to dinner and dancing, picking up the grandchild. You have to find out in your consult, not just the symptoms, the OPQRST, objective and subjective findings. You have to find out that next layer. We call that in patient mastery the third essential. It's, where is this impacting, interfering with, stopping them from having the life they want? Because if it was just the pain, guess what? More people would just take medication and numb it But our society has elevated. People don't want the chemicals in their body. They want to get it resolved. They realize, unlike probably the 80s and 90s, that just taking pain medication every day isn't healing or solving anything. It's just masking. But we want to find out, what can't they do? That's what's driving them into your practice. And when you find that out, I'm going to show you how to say it in a certain way so that people will more easily pay you more easily than ever before. But essentially, what people are paying you for is the optimistic expectation to get their life back. And guys, that's what chiropractic is. It's not just allowing more life to flow through the body uninterrupted through the nervous system. That's the mechanism. That's the medium. The real result is people can now be in their life, love their life, enjoy their life, have their best life ever. And you get to show up every single day and do that as a chiropractor. And if things are tough right now, if the collections aren't high enough and the profits aren't high enough, I guarantee this is one of the biggest reasons is you're charging for your service, you're charging for your visits, you're charging for your time, like how long you spend with a person, and you're charging for your chiropractic care, or maybe it's laser or decompression or shockwave or some other modality. And the second you do that, your new patient is thinking, I wonder where I can get this cheaper. I wonder where I can get shockwave or decompression or adjustments, or even if you have a fancy name for your technique, they're still thinking, I wonder if I can get this someplace else cheaper. So I want you to write this down. You can screenshot this page. What does it actually look and sound like in person when you're going over recommendations? We teach chiros how to do it in less than 10 minutes, 5 steps, and here's some choice words to think about. So the doctor's saying, we're gonna work together for whatever it is. Is it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever your plan is for that case. We're gonna work together for X months to get you back in the tennis court and date nights with your husband. Obviously, assuming that's what that new patient was missing. This isn't a canned scripted line, but we're gonna work together for X months to get you back to what's missing in your life. Now, when you say that to a patient, they're just thinking, that sounds wonderful. Cool. Next sentence. We're going to start off. Now, you obviously adapt this to how often you see a person initially. Do you start off seeing them 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week? That's pretty much the average. Pick which one is yours. We're going to start off 2 times a week visits. As you're getting better, you won't have to come in as often. Look what just happened there. You're not guaranteeing, you're just assuming that the person's going to get better. And that's what you're telling them. As you're getting better, and that's truth. As people get better, they don't have to come in as often or as frequently. And people love that because as much as they love you and they want results, people are busy. They don't want to have to come in 3 times a week or 2 times a week forever. That's a burden. That's a hassle. So just letting them know that we're going to start off this many times a week. And if you know it's going to be for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you can tell them that. And then as you're getting better, you won't have to come in as often. Here's another choice line. Since your insurance doesn't contribute, and I'm just assuming that if you're on this, you're not in network and in network covers every visit. Since your insurance doesn't contribute, or let's say it's partial contribution, you could say, since your insurance only contributes partially, we've created 2 savings options for you. So look what we did right here in this last sentence. What word did I use here as contribute instead of? Throw it in the chat. There's a very common word used in chiropractic or all healthcare when we're talking about insurance paying. It starts with a C. Throw it in the chat. Elenita got it first, cover. Now, why didn't I use the word cover in the sentence? It's very, very important. That one word changes a lot. Why didn't I use the word cover? I'll tell you. When you use the word your insurance covers, doesn't cover, whatever, immediately the new patient thinks, well, the insurance company knows what's needed, what is supposed to be done, all of that. So if they're not covering, then this likely isn't a proven modality, isn't recommended by them. All that starts happening. Patients think the insurance company has so much more knowledge and authority than they actually do. You know they don't. I know they don't. There's no point in playing into the preconceived notions of patients. When you switch it to the word contribute, it detaches them from thinking the insurance company is the authority and realizing the insurance company is just another person or another entity in the relationship. They've got the new patient, you, and the insurance company. It's not the insurance company is up here dictating is what happens between you two. So when you use the word contribute, it just immediately elicits, oh, okay, insurance isn't going to pay for this or isn't going to pay for all of this. What's next? And then immediately you're letting them know that you've created, your office has created 2 savings options. And what does everyone love? To save money. Just like think of the husband on the couch watching TV. The wife comes in with a bunch of bags of shoes, and the husband gets nervous and says, how much did that all cost? And the wife says, it was 50% off. Now, this isn't a gender thing, it could be switched. But the husband is thinking about how much was spent, and the wife who bought it was thinking how much she saved. And that was optimistic. You see the difference? Same thing's happening with your care. Elenita, totally may. Yeah. So when you say savings options, here's another way to think about it. You may choose to just not accept insurance, whether it's in network, out of network, and be all cash. That's awesome. High five. Instead of telling the patient, we don't accept your insurance, so this is what you have to pay, good luck, we'll give you a super bill to get reimbursed. Let's break that down. We don't accept your insurance. Immediately, that's a negative. People pay a lot of money out of their paycheck to get insurance. So we don't accept insurance, so you have to pay this. No one likes to pay anything. And then 3, that word, never, ever, ever, ever use the word super bill, because what does it sound like? A really big bill. Don't use super bill, just say receipt. Okay, that's what it sounds like from old school chiro jargon of like, insurance is evil. You're not a good chiropractor. If you accept insurance, you got to go cash. That's what they say. Don't do it. Instead, hey, I'm on your side. I'm here to help you. Your insurance doesn't contribute to this. It's kind of like it's their fault. Whether or not, and now this could be said if they have a $10,000 deductible or $5,000 deductible. It could be said if you just don't deal with insurance whatsoever. It could be they have no deductible, but they only get 3 visits covered. Pretty much for any reason, if insurance isn't going to pay, you can use this line. Your insurance doesn't contribute. And again, it could be you just decided not to work with that insurance company. Your insurance doesn't contribute. So we've created 2 savings options. And what I recommend is you can have a savings option so they pay once for the plan, or let's say the plan is over 2 months or 3 months. You break down whatever the fee is into 2 installments or 3 installments, and they pay those auto pay 30 days apart, the first one before care starts, and let's say it's 3 installments over the next 30 and 60 days. Now, you can also do pay per visit, but when you position it as we've created 2 savings options for you, you could do one time and save this amount, or you can do, let's say it's 3 months, 3 times, 3 installments, and save this amount. Most people like to do it once, they save more. Whichever one works best for you. There's no pressure, there's no feeling salesy, there's no force, there's no fear tactics. And if neither of those works for the patient, they can go on your visit to visit fee schedule. It's as simple as that. Shonice, yeah, this is great thus far. Small tweaks, that makes sense. Guys, this is a staple of everything I teach. Owning the foundations, like what's considered owning the foundations, the small tweaks will make you so much more, have you be so much happier and help so many more people than chasing the shiny objects. The shiny objects are all the things that are like too good to be true. Maybe it's, AI marketing is going to get you 30 new patients and you're never going to have to pay a dime. That's a shiny object. There's a lot of them out there. When you own the fundamentals, you own the foundations, it causes your community to be attracted to you out of trust, respect, leadership. That's everything I'm going to teach you right now. And remember, New patients are paying you for their desired outcome, not your care. Look what wasn't talked about in here. I didn't say the number of visits because the second you say the number of visits, all they're thinking is, I wonder where I can get less visits for the same amount or for the same cost. Oh, no, sorry. Where can I get less visits for half the rate? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. Lex, you wrote, do you feel like paying in installments should cost a little more than the one-time fee? Great question. Yes, that's why I mentioned, or I didn't write it out, but I said, we've created two savings options for you. You could do it once and save this amount, which is different than, or you could do it in 3 equal installments and save this amount. And the one-time fee, they're going to save a little bit more. And there's options also for the breaking in installments. You could do 3 equal installments. You could do the first installment is more, and then the next 2 are smaller. Whatever feels right to you. And you're going to have multiple different plans for different case presentations. And we show you how to do all of that, but essentially this is the foundation, this is the basics. If you just do this, you will start seeing more people pay. When you make it about the difference it's going to make in their life from a place of leadership and certainty and honesty, you're not guaranteeing outcomes. The only numbers you need to show are the total length of time, the initial frequency, and the savings. You don't even have to put in the number of visits because immediately that's going to start messing with people's heads. And you do that and you do it with honesty and leadership and certainty, you will see so many more people choose one of these options. And even if they don't, that's okay. They go on the visit to visit and you're the leader. And I'll give you an example. This is one of my favorite chiropractors, Rena Tenosi in Northern California. She was stuck for 18 years in practice selling 5 packs of adjustments. And she knew most people needed more than 5 adjustments, but that's all she would do. And it was 5 packs of adjustments, 5 packs of adjustments. She didn't want to come off as selling or needy to her patients. That's just not her style. We worked on tweaking her pricing so that she was never charging or recommending care that was more than what she believed was necessary, right, and congruent. No extra marketing. And in the very first month of learning the consult, the recommendations, she added 10,000 more in collections every month starting then. And by the way, this is a female, 18 years into practice. She was stuck around 18,000 a month, single mother of 2 kids in Northern California. Like those numbers don't work out to make ends meet. So this was crucial for her. 10,000 more a month from the first month every month. 2 years later, she's doing 94,000 a month with less insurance billing, 3-day weekends, still no marketing, no Saturdays, and life is completely different. And it all came from realizing you can lead patients, charge what you know your care is worth to get them the outcomes they're looking for, keep it simple, and people pay, they stay, and they refer. She learned the step-by-step proven process, first by understanding why patients pay. They're not paying for chiropractic care, just like you don't like to pay for chiropractic care as a chiropractor. They're paying for the optimistic expectation of the results they're going to get and the difference it's going to make in their life. Write that down, read it before you go into every recommendations. New patients are paying for the optimistic expectation of the results they're going to get and the difference that will make in their life. And when you go in with that understanding and that energy and that tone, when you go over recommendations, you will be so much more powerful. But remember, in your consult, you have to find out what's being interfered with in their life because of the pain, because of the condition. That incredibly important. And know that as a chiropractor, you are helping people get back to their life. You deserve to have a great life yourself. And that means financial freedom and security, because without that, everything else starts to break down. Our stress, our relationships, our health, if we don't have financial security and freedom. Okay, patient mastery strategy number 2, patient retention. So now what we're looking at is once the patient pays, it doesn't matter whether it was a prepay, installments, or visit to visit, having them actually follow your best recommendations. And whatever they are, it shouldn't be one size fits all. You should have different recommendations catered to different case presentations. For instance, you might have more of a mild, you may have moderate, you may have um, chronic or severe. Those could be 3 levels of patient presentations. You may also have, hypothetically, you may have a frozen shoulder protocol. You may have a scoliosis protocol. You may have a disc degeneration stage 4 protocol. So these are all options for you to stay congruent with delivering the best care you know and not feeling cookie cutter to new patients. Okay. Patient retention in the history of our profession has been educate, educate, educate. A lot of the reason behind that is it started in the 70s and 80s when insurance came out and patients really only had to pay $5, $10 the copay. And if you can educate them of why they still need to keep coming in, because the financial barrier wasn't that big, it was just a copay, that was a way to get patients to keep coming in 3 times a week for 3 months, 6 months, 2 times a week for the next 6 months. Literally, I was taught by my first mentors to recommend 115 visit care plans. Does that seem a little over the top or shocking? It did to me. And I was in undergrad. I wasn't even in chiropractic school yet. Those days are over. Like, the only way to run a practice like that is if you're spending all your money on marketing because people aren't referring, people are dropping out, and people aren't staying with you long term. And to be able to do that, you've either got to use heavy education or fear tactics or both. And most chiropractors, that's not what you want to show up to in practice every day. So I'm going to show you a new way where rather than over-educating patients, your communication is leading patients where they want to get to. So rather than education or fear tactics, leadership communication. You can actually say less, mean more, and have more new patients act and follow your recommendations. So here's one thing to think about. Are you trying to get your new patients? You probably have them on the books this week, if not today. Are you trying to get your new patients to agree with your care recommendations or protocols, accept them, or understand your treatment? Whether that's your adjustment, whether that's shockwave, laser, decompression, this is one of the biggest sabotages in our profession is as chiropractors, we think new patients need to agree with our philosophy of care, accept that it works, and actually understand how it works, whether that's the Merrick chart, whether that's the garden hose analogy, whether that's a video on subluxation and chiropractic care for 5 minutes before they start. All of these, first, are unnecessary. It doesn't make the difference of people following your recommendations and paying. Second, it can sabotage because oftentimes this type of communication comes off as you're trying to convince. That's what patients feel. And what's another term if someone feels like you're trying to convince them? What do they also feel that you're trying to do? Exactly, Brian. Sell them, being sold to. So even though you have all of the right intention, like I just want patients to get it. You know that term in chiro? Like if they just got it, guys, everyone knows that twice a year dental cleanings are healthy, valuable, and will save you money in the long run. That is universally accepted. Do you know the stat is less than 20% of the population goes for twice a year dental cleanings, even when money is no object? So think about it. Dentistry is 100% accepted. 20% of people actually follow it. Chiropractic is what in society, where on the spectrum of accepted? It's like down here. And I don't mean they're thinking it doesn't work, but how many people think of it as like, oh, I need this as an active part of my life? It's down here. So what do you think the retention and compliance is going to be? What it is, which is really, really poor. So we don't need any of this. And when patients are informed, when you're overloading patients with information about chiro care, that's the expression. They're glossy-eyed, they're overwhelmed, they're confused, it's info overload. They're never going to be able to explain it to their partner, their spouse. If you demand that the spouse or partner has to come in, that's even more of a red flag. So here's what we're going to switch. I just told you, patients don't need to understand, agree with, or accept your technique to follow your recommendations, pay you happily, and refer more. What they need is to be led by making it all about them. So when you make it all about your care and technique, which is most of what chiros are taught, it increases patient confusion and disappearance. Now, if you're an in-network doc, which less and less are because the rates are so bad, and those aren't really the doctors that I cater to, it works to an extent because people hardly have to pay anything and they'll just keep coming back. But when you make it all about your patient's concerns and the outcomes they want, this is what increases patient retention, investment, and has patients giving these type of reactions when you're going over your recommendations, when you're doing your consult, when you're doing table talk. When I was getting mentored by my first coach, even though I wasn't even in grad school yet, he had a index card in his pocket that was laminated with 115 visits and an educational piece on every single one to talk about on that visit. So it's like before he went into the room, he'd see on the person's chart, okay, this is visit 36. What's the thing I'm going to talk about? Universal intelligence. This is visit 17. What am I going to talk about? Stepping on the garden hose. Think about that. Those patients are just experiencing canned, scripted, robotic doctor interaction. The doctor, whole life, whole career is just talking about the same stuff. Rather, when you switch it to, rather than canned communication about chiro, which no one cares about, when you find out and talk about what your patients care about, getting back to coaching youth sports, getting back to bike riding on the weekends, getting back to be able to dance with their spouse, getting back to be able to pick up their grandchildren. When you talk about that, that's when they lean in. That's when they say, you're the doctor I want to get care from. Insurance doesn't contribute. I'm going to make it work. You're the doctor I want care from. So when you make it about them and what they really want, everything switches. Inpatient mastery. We start showing you the mindset shifts, which the next strategy is going to be on that, how to become the go-to doctor. We show you a new patient consult, 6 questions that will have patients just not even care if their insurance contributes or covers. They want you to be the doctor and they'll refer to you even after the consult before they even get care. 5-step recommendations, less than 10 minutes, you'd be proud if your own mother was a patient. And expert care plans, whether you're cash insurance or a mix, it works. What I'm going to show you right here is the first thing when you connect with a new patient before you even start the 6-question consult is the new patient leadership statement. So get the pen out, be able to write. I'm going to share with you 5 sentences to start every single new patient consult with. And this doesn't matter if you're a chiropractor or not, this is going to transform your new patient experience. So, first one. And by the way, you have obviously introduced yourself. So let's say they're waiting in the room for you for the consult. You've looked at their paperwork, you walk in, you introduce yourself, you can build a little rapport. How'd they find you? Was it a referral? Was it an ad? Was it Google? Was it reviews online? Was it driving past your office? Some quick connection. Another great way is just asking them, hey, how many years have you been in the community? They say 2 years or they say 20 years. Amazing. And then share how long you've been in the community and why. You've been in the community 20 years? Amazing. We've been practicing here 18 years and absolutely love taking care of the community. Simple as that. 10 seconds. Building connection. Then here's the leadership statement. Write this down. You know also that when you're connecting and building rapport, it's very easy for certain people to just start talking and just dive right into like, oh, here's where it hurts, or, my uncle went to a chiropractor and this was his experience, and it just sidetracks the conversation. So we're going to stop that before it starts. Your first sentence, when you get into the flow, this is how today's visit is going to go. It's leadership. It's not force. This is how today's visit's going to go. When you say that, you're going to see new patients just lean back and understand, here's the doctor. I don't have to figure this out. Doctor's going to take care of me. Second, I'm going to listen to everything you have to say. No patient's ever been told that before. Most patients are never listened to completely either. So when you say that, immediately a level of trust forms. Now you got to fulfill on it. You got to actually listen to them when you ask the 6 questions, but we're going to just tell them we're going to listen to everything they have to say. 3, if at any point I feel there's someone better suited for your condition and goals, I'll tell you exactly who that is. What does that connotate? Unneediness. That's one of the biggest sabotages in chiropractic is chiropractors feel they need the new patient more than the new patient needs the chiropractor. And new patients can feel that. That's one of the things we teach in the recommendations is how to give off unneediness because unneediness is attractive. And you're starting it right here, just in the consult. You're just dropping the sentence. And of course, be honest. If for some reason that person doesn't feel like their condition is a fit for your care, refer them to who they should be going to. 4, if I feel we can help you, we can move forward with the exam today. Now, what does this connotate? If I feel we can help you, when you say that, it doesn't lower your status. It actually increases it because you're not assuming you can help everyone, which is also a red flag in society for going to a chiropractor, is that, you know it, once you go, you have to go forever, or they think they could heal everything. So you're being very upfront. If I feel we can help you, based on the conversation, we'll move forward with the exam today. It's letting people know that they have to qualify to get your exam rather than, oh, I'm here for everyone. I can help everything of any condition under the sun. It's a big difference. So this is an opportunity. They have to qualify to get your exam. And lastly, share with them quickly what the rest of the visit is going to look like after your consult conversation. So you can quickly, it may say something like, we're going to go across the hall and take a few x-rays, or we're going to use this piece of equipment and check your range of motion. Let them know just what to expect, how long it's going to take, and how it will end. How it will end could be, if I feel we can help you, we can start with treatment today. Or if I feel like after the exam, we're going to have you schedule a visit within the next 2 days. I'm going to go over what we found. And then on that visit, I'm going to share exactly what it is. And if I can help you, we can start then. The if statement makes you more powerful, more leader-like, more trustworthy. Abby, these are wonderful. Love what this conveys. Absolutely. So again, every single new patient consult, introduce yourself, connect with them a few seconds on rapport, and as soon as you can, this is how the visit's going to go. And right when you say that, you'll see them relax and they let you take charge and take leadership. So screenshot this. Hopefully you wrote it down. Use these 5 sentences. And by the way, I'm not big into scripting, but the more you can just say it like this, the better. And then obviously when you do the 6-question consult, they're going to be sharing with you unique things to their life. And it's all going to be a new, unique conversation every consult because it's all about what they're missing in their life. And then the recommendations is 80% of what you learned in the consult. So instead of thinking you have to be a scripted robot, every interaction is unique to a new patient. You guys good? Thumbs up? Okay. And so some people get confused. These aren't the 6 questions, these are statements. This is the leadership statement. Let me just go. Oh, and this is clarity. This one, people want clarity. This is the leadership statement that goes right before. Now you go into the 6 questions. If you feel they're a fit, then you do your exam. If based on your exam, you feel you can help them, then you give the recommendations. Then you start giving care. And it's as simple as that. Remember, foundations, structure, organization, fundamentals, you own those, you double your practice without any more marketing. So many chiropractors' practices are leaky buckets and things just thrown together haphazardly and hoping the Facebook ads company will bail them out. And maybe you'll have a good first month, and then usually after that it's hit or miss, if at all. So then continue on to the sixth question, patient mastery consults. Okay, remember, any questions, throw them into the chat. I know I'm sharing a lot and I go fast. Patients want and need to be led by you. They're not going to a healthcare provider to tell you what they need unless you give up leadership, which a lot of chiropractors do. And that's when you get patients saying, oh, I can only come in once a week instead of twice a week for the first month, or disappearing, which is another form of them telling you they know better than you. Patients are looking for a leader. When they come in the door, it's your opportunity to establish that. If you don't, then someone has to. So then they're going to. They want and need to be led by you. They don't need to be convinced, sold, closed, or educated up front. Education comes once symptoms start changing. Why is that? Why does education start once symptoms start changing? Two reasons. Before the symptoms start changing, you haven't proven that what you do works. So you don't have full trust. So whatever you're saying is like, let me think about that. But they've been conditioned to 40 years of medical and insurance companies and pharmaceutical company commercials. So before the symptoms change, you haven't proven that what you do works. Second is, in the beginning, when they are symptomatic, psychologically, they're in a sympathetic state. If you want them to understand your education, they need to be in parasympathetic, logical comprehension. So when they're in sympathetic stress state because they're in pain and you're giving them all this chiro education, it's just going out the other window. It's just a waste of your breath. It's confusing to them and they're not remembering it. Here's a great example. Another one of my favorite chiropractors, Dr. Winnie Wong, she's in Australia. She reached out for help as an associate locum working in someone else's practice because she was young, just out of school. The patients were not following her recommendations. Everyone was bailing within 3 visits, even though she was recommending more. She learned the patient mastery proven process as an associate. She tripled the volume of the practice she was in. The owner doc said, this is amazing. I'm going to put you in another one of my practices that's stuck. She tripled the volume of that practice, realized, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to work for someone else anymore. Started her own practice. We worked specifically on creating her fees and care plans, creating an incredible new patient experience, and enhancing the strategy I'm going to teach you next. It's a mental strategy. Those are the 3 things we focused on. We didn't even focus on new patient attraction. Just those 3 fundamentals: fees and care plans, new patient experience, leading them, and the strategy I'll teach you next. She hit 100 visits a week within 8 weeks, got so busy, hired an associate to start her second year. Before the end of her second year, she had 2 associates, and literally within 16 months from scratch, one of the most successful DC practices in the world, and teaches a lot inside of patient mastery. That's Winnie Wong. If she can do it, you can do it. English as a second language, super young, in practice, all of the normal factors going against her. Let's go to patient mastery strategy number 3, headspace transformation. As much as I'm great when it comes to communication and showing chiropractors different ways to communicate, set their fees, create care plans, headspace is what counts the most. And I'm going to share with you what I found over years of coaching chiropractors. One distinction that separates those who stay stuck and feel like they're grinding it out, and you're trying new things, you're trying new strategies, you're investing in yourself and others to help you, but it's those stuck at 20,000 a month, stuck at 30,000 a month collections, and it's not making ends meet family-wise. and knocking out debt and saving for the future. That's a big category of the profession compared to the ones who, over time, it's steady, consistent growth. The difference from hoping next year is just going to be better, or hoping, the next company is going to fill my practice, to creating your success with certainty. And I'm going to share with you a concept that I came out with a few years ago. I wrote a book on it. I haven't seen it shared before. I didn't just take this off some book I read. That when you own it, when you apply it, and I'll teach you a technique or share with you a technique to strengthen it and to create it in your psyche, it will change the game for you. And as over the last 5 years, we've been sharing it with chiropractors and our clients, the ones who act on it and use it, it makes all the difference in the world. So just please don't hope or expect next year will just be better just because it's another year. In fact, just waiting and letting time go by, things only degenerate with time. There's got to be new insights, new strengths, new actions, new strategies. So what are some of the most common aspects of growth? Goal setting, visioning, integrity, team, getting coaching and trusting coaching, discipline, commitment. Those are all fundamental factors that contribute to success, building the pyramid. Now, you may have all of those. You may goal set, vision, get coaching, have discipline and commitment, have integrity, but you're still stuck. What I've found, both in my own life and through coaching hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors, is one linchpin that when it's missing, you stay stuck. When it's plugged in, things move forward. And I'm going to share it with you right now, and I'm going to show you how to integrate it into your psyche and in your life. The number one reason keeping you from your most successful practice, ask yourself this question in your head. It's a yes or no answer. It's super, super easy. Just go with your gut. Ready? This is the determining factor. Do you believe you truly deserve the practice success you want? What does your mind or your belly tell you? Do you believe you truly deserve the practice success you want? The deserving belief, everyone has one uniquely. It changes over time and it can strengthen or it can decrease over time. It most likely was created in your early childhood based on your upbringing, based on your parents or caretakers. Whether or not you believe you deserve having the success you envision. You all had a vision in grad school of what you wanted practice and your life to be like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. If you're not there, I guarantee the fundamental aspect is you don't truly believe you deserve having it. And that's okay, because your deserving belief wasn't stamped on your forehead at birth. It's changeable, it's adaptable, it's moldable, and I'm going to help you with it. But just knowing, remember, all progress starts with telling the truth. Just being aware that you have an undeserving belief for this amount of collections or profit or income or the house or the property or the lifestyle or the retirement savings or the ability to retire at the age you want. If you don't have that deserving belief, it doesn't matter. The strategies, the books, the seminars, the money you spend on marketing, all of that will be sabotaged. Undeserving beliefs cause you to try to build a mansion, your vision, on top of a swamp. The swamp is undeserving beliefs. You can have the best materials, the best architects, and the best builders. And if you put that mansion on top of a swamp, it's not staying up. So you can have the best goal setting, the best discipline, action-oriented, in integrity, you tell the truth, you're a great person, you're moral, you're ethical. But if you don't believe you deserve your goals, you will always find a way to self-sabotage. The second major thing is that when you have undeserving beliefs, you're not even able to see, to think about your true vision of what's possible for you because you've been beaten down by parents, mentors, you know, colleagues that you have to stay in this box. Not, you can't get above this glass ceiling or this cement ceiling is maybe what it feels like. So if you know your vision right now, your goals and your vision isn't anywhere near what's possible, think about some of your colleagues. That's oftentimes because of an undeserving belief. If this is making sense, throw in the chat box. Got it. Doesn't mean you have an undeserving, just like this makes sense, this construct, this understanding. 100%. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean self-growth, personal growth, all of the other amazing mentors and concepts and strategies don't have merit. They all do. However, from my experience coaching, all of those build on top of your deserving belief. If you don't have a deserving belief, the goal setting will sabotage. The partnership and teamwork will sabotage. The great marketing strategy, your tech, you can have the most amazing technique, get the most amazing results with patients, but if you don't believe you deserve to make the income you want, this won't matter. The amazing results won't matter. They won't refer. They'll leave after 2 visits because they're great. New people won't find you, even though you're the most amazing healer and practitioner. If you don't believe you deserve having practice success, which was whatever that means to you, volume, monetary, profits, all of that. And here's a great example. Dr. Sean Mahoney in Vermont. He's been in practice for over 36 years, 2 successful practices, found me in patient mastery because he was feeling pretty burnt out. He was successful, but stuck at like 50 to 60,000 a month collections and just doing the same thing over and over, and had spent hundreds of thousands over his career on personal and practice growth that had all made a difference, but got him to where he was. Whatever you've done already has gotten you to where you are. If you want to get to where you're going, you got to do something new unless you're already on that trajectory. Most docs, it's been quarters or years of staying at the same collections and profits. So Sean, salt of the earth, amazing husband, father, chiropractor, on the Vermont State Association, mentors chiropractors through it. We improved his recommendations and strengthened his deserving belief for collections. And look what happened. Year 1, 25,000 more increase in collections, paid off his home mortgage in full. That was during COVID, wrote a check for like over 300,000, just paid it off. Year 3, 40,000 a month more in collections. So now at the $1 million practice level, not feeling burnt out, feel like every day is new because every patient conversation is new, has this new tool, deserving belief, and I'll share with you the deserving process, which has you create it and strengthen it. And it's like practice is new again because it's fun and it's light and it's easy. And when you're making a lot more, life's just better. When you can knock out bad debts, when you can save for the future, and you can give your family the lifestyle they deserve, life just feels better. And it all starts by mastering and owning the foundations, the fundamentals, and the principles of patient connection, retention, conversion, getting paid, and deserving and believing you deserve to have the practice you want. Are there any questions? Elenita, hopefully the feed isn't still frozen for you. Any questions on any of those 3 strategies right now? You could drop them in the chat. I believe there's a question and answer thing, but I would just drop them in the chat. You deserve having the life and the practice you desire. By helping more patients get their life back. Shonice, what's the name of your book? I will share that in a second because that's actually my gift to you, for you all, for being on this. Obviously, you showed up to this because you have a commitment to be better, get better, help more people, and have the best practice possible. And that's what I respect in colleagues. So my gift to you this is my book. You deserve it. It's on Audible, it's on paperback, it's in digital. Um, I'm going to gift you a free copy of You Deserve It, which inside the book, there's a URL and it's free opt in to get online deserving resources. So it's like I'm answering question and answer, um, guided deserving process audios for you to listen to, just in-depth more training on the deserving process. And you can get that. Go to patientmastery.com and you will see it says book, do it. I think you enter your name and email and you can have a digital download immediately and access to all of the free online resources. That is my gift to every chiropractor every single week, whether it's docs I work with directly or docs who I don't know at all, but have read the book and started applying the process. I hear success stories. And it doesn't just apply to your practice, it doesn't just apply to money. The deserving belief, that's any aspect of your life, your health, your relationships, and every single area of your life, you have a different deserving belief. You may be in an amazing marriage with your soulmate and life partner. Guess what? You have a deserving belief that happened in that realm of your life. However, money, things may not be working out. So you have a deserving belief for lifelong partnership, but you don't have a deserving belief, or your deserving belief is like a 2 out of 10 when it comes to money and finances. So what we show you is where to target to apply the deserving process to strengthen that specific area. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's anxiety and fear. Maybe it is practice collections and profits. What's amazing, it's going to be unique to everyone. So go to patientmastery.com, get a copy of the book for free. Once you're going through at the end of each chapter, it shows you what's in the free online resources. And just what an amazing way to end the year, going into Thanksgiving, all of that, with this understanding, this concept, and a tool that, and when I talk about the deserving process, that's something that you can do for a few minutes from home, doesn't cost a dime, don't have to get on the phone with anyone, literally a meditative tool that's going to help rewire and go from undeserving to deserving. So I can't wait for you guys to dive in as well. That's the end. So we've got getting paid by helping people get back to their life rather than trying to sell chiropractic care. 2, getting people to follow your recommendations by leading them rather than trying to educate them. And 3, a new concept for your headspace to actually believe you deserve rather than whatever you've been currently doing. It's gotten you to where you are. You need another tool to get you where you want to go. And we're going to show you how to increase your deserving belief.